Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Landfall Infinity Slayer gameplay. Score in the background is a 23 and 3. Nothing too impressive, but the gameplay itself I've really enjoyed playing. I was playing with a full team, including Master Davros, Sword Vengeance, and Lord Quiche. These are all upstanding members of the Halo community, and they're pretty skilled Halo players, and I hope this gameplay reflects that fact. And this is Landfall. You know, Landfall is one of these maps that I just fall in and out of love with. Sometimes I play it and I'm like, this is a really enjoyable map. This is extremely fun, like this gameplay, for example. And then other times I play it and I think this is the worst DLC map that has ever existed in the history of DLC maps. And I think it all just kind of depends on how the enemy players are playing it. There's quite a lot of nooks and crannies you can hide yourself in and play fairly defensive. The fact that they spawn that shotgun in that room up there, and then people just play super backwards with it. If you don't have a rocket launcher, sometimes it can just be really hard to push. In fact, the amount of power weapons you can stack up and accumulate all together is kind of insane. You pile in Infinity Slayer with that, and sometimes the lashing and the beating you can receive is pretty depressing, to say the least. But anyhow, I had a topic that I wanted to discuss with you guys, and it's regarding the latest Halo Bulletin. I don't know why I took so long to get round to this. Usually I try and cover it as quick as possible, but I had a couple of topics that I wanted to discuss instead at the time, so I didn't really feel like doing it. But now, I thought I would, because it's actually a fairly important one. Some of the bulletins recently have been a little bit lackluster, and they haven't really given us much information. And there was a time I was even worried that there wasn't going to be another rotational playlist, because it was just about to finish with the last rotational playlist, which was... I don't know why I started that sentence, because I had no idea what it was. But it was a rotational playlist, and that was just about to end. And I was thinking, oh my god, like, they haven't announced the new batch of rotational. Does that mean that we're not going to get them? Because that would have really sucked. But luckily, Team DLC came along, and now we're getting a bunch of new playlists. So I thought I'd go over them today. These include, the playlists are... So it's Team DLC, lasting from the 23rd of June till the 6th of July. 6th of July is actually my birthday, so my birthday present is going to be the change of guard to Team Oddball. Unfortunately, they called this Team Ball at first, because I saw this calendar earlier in the week, because this wasn't the first time this calendar appeared. It appeared somewhere else on, like, earlier bulletin, but it was really obscure, and, like, I don't think many people saw it, so they decided to include it again. But on that bulletin, they called it Team Ball, so I thought, oh, maybe this is going to include Ricochet. Maybe we're going to get a bit of Quicochet. And now they've just called it Team Oddball, and I'm like, ah, sad face, because I love me some Ricochet. I really miss Ricochet. Ricochet, I could always come on Halo 4, like, at least a couple times a week, just on the basis of Ricochet, because I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite playlists in Halo, period. It's got a very nice blend between casual and competitive. But this is Team Oddball. I like Oddball. I think people just have... I think if there's one playlist that people kill whore in, it's freaking Oddball. Because picking up the Oddball is one of the most boring tasks in the world. You feel like such a support player. You're just like, oh, you know, I'm the Oddball carrier. I'm going to spend this entire match sitting in a corner with an Oddball and running away from people like a scared child. I don't know. It's not something I particularly enjoy. And I do respect Oddball as a game type. It's quite hard to play, and there'll probably be a lot of skilled players on it. So that's something to bear in mind if you don't want to get your ass whooped. Because if your CSR goes up past a certain level, you can guarantee it's going to be a tough time. Next is Big Team SWAT, a combination of my two least favorite game types in Halo, period. Not much I can say on this because I have an extreme bias going into it of, I hate SWAT. I hate Big Team. I hate Big Team SWAT. With my connection, the larger the player numbers, I think my connection struggles a little bit. And then SWAT in general, you know, I play with so many Americans that I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I have trouble registering that headshot. And I'm not just making excuses here because I can do decent at SWAT. I've just never been particularly, you know, godlike, and it's never been my playlist of choice. I think it can get pretty campy, and to be honest, I'd rather play COD than Big Team SWAT. I really would, just from my perspective. Next is Community Forge Race. I think this could be fun. I'm really glad that it's going to be a Community Forge playlist. I'm surprised they have the time to do this because they seem to have ignored doing Community Forge stuff for a very long time. So I think it's really cool that they're going to be bringing in some Forge maps. We're going to see how they are. It's a shame that it's not like Community Forge Ricochet or Community Forge Objective playlist, Community Forge CTF, I don't know, something like that. I would personally prefer that. But then again, like, you know, race is something to keep me distracted. It's something fun. I think the thing that frustrates me about it is race is something I want on the side, not as the main event. And I kind of like these rotational playlists to be the main event. I want to get like engaged in it. I want to play it for a long time and get good at it. But there's no real reason. And then last but not least is Extraction. Extraction definitely brings out some of the better players in the Halo community. It's a very team-orientated game type, and if you're not using teamwork, you're not using callouts, you can get severely punished for it. And you've kind of got to go into it with the right mindset. I think as the weeks go by, Extraction is going to be a very low-numbered playlist, and therefore there's going to be a very dedicated following of players inside it. And people love Extraction, that's a fact. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the commentary. Oh, I'll talk about one more thing, actually, and that is RTX, which is happening on the 7th of July. I think you guys should definitely pay attention to this, and even if you're not watching it, be following it on Twitter. That's probably most likely what I'll do, because there's aspects of RTX that I just don't enjoy watching, to be honest. Like, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of downtime and there's a lot of small events and side events, and I'm not exactly, you know, I like Rooster Teeth, but I don't follow everything they do. I kind of fall behind at times. Like, I haven't even finished watching Red vs. Blue, which is fairly terrible, and someone begged me to finish watching it, because there was just, like, one season which I didn't feel like was as good as the older seasons, and then I just got a bit, like, sick of it, to be honest. But I hear that it gets really, really good again towards the end, so I probably should. But anyhow, the RTX Expo is happening, and they're going to be talking about the Master Chief Collection on July the 5th, actually. And they say, don't worry, there's going to be surprises in store for you guys, which I really, really can't wait for. I definitely think it's going to be worth following on Twitter or keeping up with to some extent, because there'll probably be some very, very exciting information to some extent. They're also showing a campaign demo behind closed doors, and I believe Duquesne23, if I heard in Cray Spartan's video, he said Duquesne23 is going to be attending this, and he's probably going to have a lot of information for us, so you might want to subscribe to Duquesne. I'll put a link in my YouTube channel in the description, and yeah, I think it's going to be an enjoyable time, and I can't wait. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I've been Modest Major. Peace.